Tonight on News Central 34, a CMU student arrested for stalking. It's how he did it that has many alarmed.
And News Central 34 follows the Safe Sex Bar Patrol in downtown Mount Pleasant promoting safe sex.
Spring finally arrived last Friday in Mount Pleasant, but you wouldn't know it today. We only reached 29 degrees. How long will these temperatures last? I'll have all the details coming up.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Clayton Cummins.
And I'm Stephanie Hodges. You're watching News Central 34 at 5.
Now in high definition, Mount Pleasant's all News Central 34 at 5.
Right now, a CMU student arrested of charges of stalking sits in Isabella County Jail awaiting charges. The 22-year-old man was also arrested on charges of using a computer to commit a crime. He used the computer as part of his stalking behavior, according to Lieutenant Cameron Wassman. Police were searching for the suspect yesterday and at about 2:45 p.m. found the student in the 1000 block of South Washington Street. Lieutenant Kloss said the man is accused of stalking a female CMU student that lives on campus in a residence hall. The two students involved have dated in the past. Today, CMU entrepreneur students gathered together for a shot at more than $75,000 in money to jumpstart their ideas.
It's the 5th year of the new venture competition put on by the College of Business Administration's Isabella Bank Institute for Entrepreneurship. News Central 34's Raquel Harrington is live to tell us more. Raquel.
That's right, Clayton. I'm here at CMU's Education and Human Service Building, where over 70 businesses are here to compete. They all want a shot at money from investors to get their businesses up and running. The new venture competition has been around since 2011, and many successful businesses can credit their success to the beginning. Participants this year hope to have similar success.
Well, this is such a great program for a new venture because there's so many kids that don't know about certain opportunities, and then they get here and they see that they can make something of themselves. And the networking opportunities are unlimited here. We have a lot of people of Fortune 500 companies coming down and talking to everybody, and just the ability to pick their brain is just an awesome experience. And at least I'll gain some knowledge on what I want in the future.
The final round has just wrapped up. They'll meet in the Event Center in McGurk Arena for keynote and awards. The event is free and is open to the public. For News Central 34, I'm Raquel Harrington. Back to you all at the studio.
Thanks, Raquel. You could see speed limits going up on Michigan highways soon. A 5-bill package was introduced in Lansing. The use of new technology will help collect scientific data to determine the new limits. This will save the state time and money and keep Michigan roads as some of the safest in the nation. WPBN reports that the new laws will reflect the speed that 85% of motorists are already driving at. If the limits are raised, it would result in a safer, more effective traffic flow.
The State House passed new legislation that cuts off welfare to families with children who skip school. The bill goes along with a policy already used by the Department of Human Services. It allows families to be removed from assistance to reapply after the child attends school for 21 days. Republican representatives say the bill promotes responsible parenting and helps break the cycle of generational poverty. Opposing Democrats say there is no consistent definition of truancy in the state. The bill now goes to the Senate.
A bond has been set at $1 million for a mother of 4 children. 35-year-old Michelle Blair was arraigned and charged on 5 counts of first-degree child abuse. Police arrested Blair Tuesday after court officials served an eviction notice at her home in Detroit and discovered 2 children's bodies in plastic bags in a deep freezer. According to police reports, Blair's 2 other children were unharmed but knew their dead siblings were inside the freezer. The unharmed children currently remain in protective custody and have said that they were pulled out of school 2 years ago. An autopsy today confirmed a ruling of homicide as the cause of death for the 2 children. Blair returns to court for a preliminary exam on April 2nd.
Well, last night, over 20 volunteers gathered inside the Bovee University Center, all with one goal in mind, spreading the word of safe sex in Mount Pleasant area bars. It's just before 9:30 on Thursday night, and the night is still young for this group of Central Michigan University students. These students volunteered for the Safe Sex Bar Patrol.
Bar patrols are when we take CMU students out to bars such as Wayside, the Cabin, things like that, things that students are familiar with. And we take them out and we give them the opportunity to hand out condoms or abstinence candy to people in the bars.
Established in 2003, the idea behind the Safer Sex Bar Patrol is to decrease the number of sexually transmitted diseases on campus. According to the Center for Disease Control, 20 million newly sexually transmitted diseases are diagnosed each year. High school and college-age students make up 26%.
It's simple as I didn't know, or I didn't realize that I was putting myself at risk. So that's what we try to do, inform people to make better decisions.
After volunteers arrive and check in, students are given a name tag and a brief presentation about sexually transmitted infections and the dangers they impose. Bags filled with condoms and abstinence candy are given to volunteers as they split into groups for the rest of the night. Following the brief presentation, volunteers then took to the streets of downtown Mount Pleasant to hand out condoms to strangers. As you can imagine, the response to a bar patrol can be quite comical.
The reactions people give us are always fun. They're always hilarious because it's really something you don't expect.
What I've noticed, like, the guys are kind of like, oh no, maybe not, but then the girls will be like, oh yeah, he's getting one.
Freshman Alicia Gold describes her first time volunteering.
It was crowded and awkward because I'm not a very social person, but like walking up to people and just being like, hey, do you want condoms or abstinence candy? Yeah.
And despite it being awkward, the importance of protecting yourself from sexually transmitted infections can be all too real.
Well, at this point in our lives, we think we're invincible a lot of the time, and we're not, especially when it comes to like sex, and when people are in the moment, they don't usually think of it sometimes.
It's just a good feeling knowing that you're contributing to the greater good.
And if you'd like to participate in the Safer Sex Bar Patrol, you can visit CMU's OrgSync page and search Safe Sex Patrol. And Stephanie, I have to say, it was pretty interesting following everybody around at the bar handing out condoms. It was, like I said in the package, pretty awkward thing, but fun to watch everybody do that.
Yeah, I bet. Well, warmer weather returns next week, but not before a chilly weekend.
Chris Eastlick is in next with your forecast.
It's Starbucks' 20th anniversary of the Frappuccino. Find out how they're celebrating coming up on your Business Watch.
Chris, it looked so deceiving outside today. The sun was out, it looked warm, and I opened the door and whoosh, a blast of cold wind in my face.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's deceiving for me and frustrating for me too, because I want spring just like anyone else. I imagine a lot of people took the wrong coat this morning and had to go back inside to change. Let's get to your headlines. You can see we have a chilly, starry night ahead of us, and those cold temperatures are going to get even colder. So if you were angry this morning, well, you're not going to like this forecast tonight. We're down to the single digits, but we do clear out just a little bit, so at least we'll have some stars to look out for. But it might be a good night to have the blanket and the Netflix going. Sunny and cool for Saturday. At least we'll get some sun in there, and then a rain-snow mix for Sunday evening. And then after that, barring a few speed bumps in the forecast, really should be a very nice forecast. For today's highs, we only got up to 29 in Mount Pleasant today. We didn't even break 30. A little bit colder off to the North Mackinac Island, up at 20 degrees for a high today. So really just another blast of winter for us. Old man winter not ready to let go yet. And that's 10 degrees colder than we were yesterday at this time. And you can see a little farther off to the south down near Detroit, they were 18 degrees colder than they were yesterday. So really chilly atmosphere coming in, but there is some good news on the ways. I'll have a little bit more on that coming up. But those temperatures are thanks to these northerly winds really bringing in that cold air from Canada and making things just really unseasonably cold for us here in Michigan. Here's the current wind chill, not too bad, but still enough to notice. 18 degrees is what it feels like out in Mount Pleasant. And let's zoom farther out. We'll see the current temps region-wide. You can see cold air off to the west, but then as you go farther off to the west into the Dakotas, out into the plains, you can see that warm air starting to make its way back in and should be here by at least the middle of next week. Let's give you a sneak peek of next week and your weekend. You can see 34 is the high tomorrow, that single-digit low, and then that rain and snow mix on Sunday, 40 degrees, but then after we get through Sunday, you can see Monday, partly cloudy skies, a high of 44, and that kind of leads the way for the rest of the week. It's going to be very, very nice. Satellite and radar, you can see those flurries that kind of hung around through this morning. Really didn't see any in Mount Pleasant when we woke up, but those are on their way out, leading to mostly sunny skies, and we're starting to clear out 27 degrees here in Mount Pleasant. Quick look at your futurecast tonight, 8 o'clock. You can see we start to clear out. Get this into motion all through Saturday morning and then going into Saturday night. You can see clear skies, but then going into Sunday, you start to see this snow start to move in. We'll see mostly a rain and snow mix for your Sunday. Once again, 8 degrees tonight. It's cold. Grab the winter coat if you're headed out. Hope you have a great Friday night. As for tomorrow, 34 degrees, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Very nice, partly cloudy skies. As for your day planner, 8 degrees when you wake up, 32 when you get into your midday, and then cooling off rather quickly as we go into the night. Here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast. You can see by Wednesday of next week that partly cloudy trend continues, 50 degrees for a high, and then even higher on Thursday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Chris. What could be better than a smartphone, you ask? A smart bed. Amira has the details in your Business Watch.
One company hopes to bring you a mattress that caters to all your needs. According to the creators, with the Luna mattress, you will be able to set the alarm and even brew coffee from your bed. The bed would also feature lighting, locks, thermostat, speakers. Anything that works with your smartphone will work with the Luna mattress cover. The company launched an Indiegogo campaign to raise money for their venture in January. The campaign ended yesterday after raising over $1 million from 5,300 backers. That's 10 times the company's original goal of $100,000. Hopefully we'll see the smart bed come to life in the near future. Graduation season is approaching, and the financial company 24/7 Wall Street has some valuable information for those of you on the job hunt. After taking 2014 unemployment rates from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics for nearly 600 occupations, they have compiled a list of occupations with the best job security. The company says if you're looking for a very secure job, you may want to be a chiropractor. The profession topped the list with an unemployment rate of just 0.1%. Also in the medical field, dentists and physician assistants are in high demand. Employment in both careers is on the rise. Surgeons and medical technicians follow close behind. A job in law enforcement may also guarantee you job security. The unemployment rate among detectives stands at only about 0.8%. Farmers also made the list. Farmers had the 10th lowest unemployment rate, with only 1% of American farmers without a job. That could be because nearly 3/4 of American farmers are self-employed. Starbucks is celebrating their 20th anniversary of the Frappuccino with a new flavor. The company is now offering a birthday cake Frappuccino to its customers. The beverage is a combination of vanilla bean and hazelnut topped with raspberry infused whipped cream. Unfortunately, it is only being offered for a limited time, so stop into your nearest Starbucks today through March 30th to give it a try. That's it for your Business Watch. I'm Amira Austin.
We're here with Chris Jared for Sports Today. Now, it's been pretty cold the last few days. How has that affected the softball team?
Yeah, that's right, Stephanie. Baseball still played today, but the cold did stop the softball team. I'll have that and more coming up in sports. It may not be anything close to the ideal baseball weather, but that is not stopping the Central Michigan Chippewas from taking the field. I'm Chris Jared, bringing you your Friday Dose of Sports. Well, the Chippewa softball team was scheduled for a doubleheader to open MAC play against the Miami Redhawks, but due to some pretty chilly temps outside, the 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock games both have been canceled for today. The Chips do continue to look to tomorrow, however, to play host to the Ball State Cardinals. Not many updates have been released besides the facts, so stay tuned to the CMU softball Twitter account for more updates on tomorrow's game as they come through. A little bit further south, not much more south than Michigan, but even still, the Chippewa baseball team traveled down to Oxford, Ohio, and started their 3-game MAC weekend series against the Miami Redhawks today at 2, and they did pretty well. Nick Deeg had the complete game, only allowing 4 hits. Chippewas win 11-0. Big win for the opener in Oxford. They moved to 3-1 in the MAC. The 16-10 Chippewas look to improve their conference record against the 4-17 Redhawks, with games coming tomorrow at 3 p.m. and Sunday at 1. Logan Regner for the Chippewas hitting a .333 so far for the Chips, including 10 extra base hits, 5 of them triples. That alone ties Regner for second in the nation. Although the college basketball season is winding to a finish and the CMU Chippewas unfortunately had to watch the NCAA tournament from the TV, they are still collecting some postseason honors. The National Association of College Basketball Coaches, or the NABC, awarded junior Chris Fowler to the All-District 14 first team. The NABC splits the entire nation into 25 districts, and Fowler was placed alongside other of the top players in the MAC. Head coach Keno Davis for the Chips, in just his third year as the head man, was named MAC Coach of the Year, the NABC District 14 Coach of the Year, and also was named a finalist for 2 other national coaching honors. We can only hope that next year around this time, we will still be talking about the Chippewas basketball team in March. In a more broad scope, the Detroit Red Wings still are planning on opening the new arena in 2017, yet Richard Heaps, the project's design manager, is saying that they are getting quote-unquote uncomfortably close. The committee is planning on making some slight changes, starting with increase and expanding the green space near the proposed arena. Heap says it increases our public square, park, piazza area almost double. The new building is also expected to host early round games in the 2018 NCAA men's basketball tournament. However, with the plan comes the downfall of a long-time historic hotel. The plans include the demolition of Detroit's historic Park Avenue Hotel. The Olympia Development of Michigan's consultants also said they are looking to renovate Hotel Eddystone to offer more than 100 residential units. The new renovations would include traffic entering off of Cass Corridor, which would bring much more car and traffic flow in the way of pedestrians. Although the season seems very far away, it'll soon be here before we know it. That's all I have for you today with your Friday Dose of Sports. Now back to Clayton on the desk.
Chris, thank you. We're learning more now about the Germanwings flight co-pilot accused of intentionally setting the plane on a fatal descent into the French Alps. 150 people died in the crash. Investigators found documents in Andreas Lubitz's apartment indicating he had some kind of illness, along with torn-up medical notes accusing him of work. Officials aren't saying what the illness was, but say it appears Lubitz was keeping it secret from his employer. Mary Maloney has more.
This tragedy has turned into a crime scene. Prosecutors say a 27-year-old pilot forced a passenger plane into the Alps. Now investigators are trying to figure out why. Andreas Lubitz grew up here in Germany and developed a passion for flying.
A very normal young person full of energy. What can I say? He had a bright future. He made his hobby into his job. What more can you hope to achieve?
Lubitz eventually trained at facilities in Germany and Arizona. Before being hired by Germanwings, he passed a psychological test deeming him fit to fly, which, according to the company, he did well. But when he got behind these controls, investigators say he did something horrific. Lubitz locked the captain out of the cockpit, according to prosecutors, and set the plane on a course to death.
That he was very determined. Yeah, that was his goal. He had a mission or a goal to kill himself and everybody on board.
A security measure, a lock control placed inside the cockpit to protect pilots, ended up sealing the fate of the innocents, who were heard on the cockpit voice recorder in the final moments of the flight, screaming. Lubitz, investigators say, was silent.
We deal with terrorists and people that aren't supposed to be in the cockpit. This person's supposed to be in the cockpit. That's what's scary.
Hundreds of friends and families of the victims arrived near the crash site, shocked and saddened. But they stood together, connected by this unspeakable crime. I'm Mary Maloney, reporting.
Prosecutors say investigators have found no evidence of a goodbye letter from Lubitz and no hints of a political or religious reason for the crash.
A former nurse's aide will not face murder charges for cutting and removing an unborn baby from a mother's womb. According to prosecutors, Colorado state law does not recognize a fetus as a person unless it's capable of surviving for a period of time outside the womb. On March 18th, Michelle Wilkins answered a Craigslist ad for baby clothes. When she arrived at a home, former nurse aide Dinell Lane attacked, beat, and removed the mother's fetus. Police arrested Lane on a $2 million bond. The baby did not survive.
And here's a look at how Wall Street did today. The Dow was up 34 points, ending the day at 17,712. NASDAQ rose 27 points, finishing up the day at 4,891. Stay with us. Chris Eastlick has a look at your forecast when we return.
All right, welcome back. A final look at your forecast tonight. Dropping down back into the single digits. 8 degrees is your low for tonight. Grab the winter coat if you're headed out. As for tomorrow, a nice day, but a cool day. Unseasonably cool once again, 34 degrees. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Like I mentioned earlier, just get through a few speed bumps in the forecast, and overall, it's a pretty nice week. First chance of a thunderstorm next Thursday. Low chance, but hey, still a chance nonetheless.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
Well, that is the broadcast for this Friday night. Don't forget, News Central 34 is on Facebook and Twitter. For Chris Eastlick and Chris Jared, I'm Stephanie Hodges.
And I'm Clayton Cummins. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.